Hi everybody, and welcome to class 70 of our series that we are learning Vedic astrology. We are learning how to analyze a horoscope through various classes. We are learning how to manually calculate certain astrological data and figures. And in today's class, that is class 70, we will learn and we will understand how we can calculate the planetary positions and the planetary longitudes. So, in a horoscope, that is, if we are looking at the Divan chart, the Lagna chart, so this particular process, if you are being thorough with it, you will be able to manually calculate in which particular house, in which particular sign the planets will be placed, all the 9 planets. All right. So, this is today's class, and once today's class gets completed, once you start to practice it and your practice is thorough, you will be you will also be able to manually calculate this with accuracy. All right, so let's proceed with today's class. Okay, so now the data bank that we are using for calculating the planetary positions and the longitude of the planets is the first example what we have done when we were calculating the ascendant rising and the longitude of the ascendant. What was the data bank that we had considered? It was, I'll tell you. So again, I'm referring to my notes. All right. So this is the data bank. So the date of birth is 31st of August 2024. The time of birth is 11:25 a.m. IST, and the place of birth is Delhi. So for this particular data bank, or for this particular birth details, we have already we had already successfully calculated what was the ascendant rising for this horoscope and what was the longitude of the ascendant. It was completely covered. All the explanations was done in complete details and with accuracy in our class 68. All right, now we are coming back to today's class because we will be requiring this particular data, because it is a continuation of the same process in a way. Now we have successfully calculated the ascendant rising and the longitude of the ascendant. Now for the same birth detail, we will be manually calculating also the planetary positions and the longitude of the planets. Very, very important, right? So our ascendant for this particular horoscope was Libra. That means the lord of the first house is the sign number 7, Libra. The ruler of Libra is Venus. That means Venus is the Lagnesh, and the degree of the longitude, the longitude of the ascendant is 24 degrees 18 minutes and 50 seconds. So we have successfully calculated this. Now let's go back, come to the calculation for the planetary positions. Now, before we start with this, we need one more book, that is this particular book, Vani's Ephemeris. It's 2024 because see, every year we have an ephemeris. So for every year you have to buy an ephemeris. So as the birth detail is of the year 2024, I am using the 2024 edition of Vani's Ephemeris. Alright, suppose if I was dealing with any birth detail which was of the year 2004, then I would be using the Vani's Ephemeris of the year 2004. Right? So all of these things you have to keep in mind for calculating with accuracy. Okay, so how you will be using this book, in what particular steps this particular book will be used, each and every detail I will complete and cover in today's class. Okay, so let's begin. our calculations of the planetary positions and the longitude of the planets. These are again my notes. So these are my fair notes for the same example. So the first thing which we need to keep in mind is one particular principle you need to always keep in mind. If the time of birth is more than 5:30 a.m., okay, remember my whatever I'm saying to you right now. If the time of birth is more than 5:30 a.m., then we would be considering datas for, suppose if the date of birth is now 31st of August, we will be considering data for 1st September and 31st of August. So in a way I will let you know step by step, so don't get confused. I'm just telling you one particular principle because in our upcoming steps this particular concept needs to be clear for all of you. So I've written it down. Let me show my work over here. Okay, so if your time of birth is more than 5:30 a.m., we will be considering the date which will be coming in our first row as 1st of September, and the second row values will be of 31st of August. Now what is the 1st of September values? What will be the values for the 31st of August? We will be discussing in this class only. And just a simple principle, if your time of birth is less than 5:30 a.m., then your top row value will be 31st of August, that is the same birth date, and your second row will become 30th of August. So these two principles you have to keep in mind. If the time of birth is more than 5:30 a.m., then what will be the date in the first row and what will be the date in the second row? If the time of birth is less than 5:30 a.m., then what will be the the values for the first row, the date considered for the first row, and what will be the date considered for the second row. This particular principle is universal whenever you will be solving manually any birth details and calculating its planetary positions and longitudes. And this is IST, all right, 5:30 IST, 5:30 am IST. So if it is for a foreign birth detail, right, where it was a ZST time, so there we will be requiring that conversation value, that is IST from ZST. Remember in class 69 for Wellington, New Zealand, we had a look at that particular value. We were not requiring it at that particular moment of the calculation, but we had understood that from where we can get that value. We were getting that value from the table of ascendants, right? IST from ZST. If it is a ZST birth, that particular IST from ZST value we will be requiring for this particular step. So anyway, as this is a Delhi birth, there is no concept of ZST involved over here. If time will permit, I will show you something like how that IST from ZST conversation and how that value is being utilized in this particular calculation. I will show it to you whenever the entire step for this particular birth detail gets completed. After that, I will show you the ZST one also. So anyway, I'm sure now you are very much clear with the first principle, at least this particular point. All right, now let's proceed further so that it will be becoming even more clearer to you. Now we have to understand the date of birth for this particular individual is 31st of August. That means we need to understand the planetary positions in the sky when the individual was born on 31st of August at 11:25 am at Delhi. What was the planetary positions? The first, the sign rising on the eastern horizon, or the first sign rising on the eastern horizon, is Libra, that we have already calculated. Now the planets, right, starting from Venus, all the 9 planets, how were they placed in the sky? In which particular sign all of those planets were? What was the planetary longitude? So what was the longitude of all the 9 planets? Everything we will be calculating in this particular class. And so it is just like a logical understanding. On 31st of August, when that individual was born, at that point of time, the planetary alignments and the planetary positions that became that individual's horoscope exactly at that point of time when that individual was born. that is 11:25 a.m. IST at Delhi. Now, we have to start working in a very systematic way and in a very mathematical way. All of these steps will be universal for whatever calculations you will be solving from now onwards whenever it comes to planetary positions and planetary longitudes. But before proceeding, again I want to tell you there are two different methods by the help of which you can calculate this, and I will show you both the methods, so that it is now up to you which particular method you want to choose whenever you want to manually calculate the planetary positions and the planetary longitudes. So the two methods which are utilized by the practitioners of Vedic astrology, whoever is calculating all of these things manually, is one is the ratio method, and the second is the logarithm method. The logarithm method will completely utilize this particular book, that is the Vanis Ephemeris, and I'll show you how you will be utilizing, from where you will be getting those values. And ratio method is something we need to calculate at our end. So there is an extra mathematical calculation involved when it comes to the ratio method. So I will start with the ratio method, and next, after completing the ratio method, I will then proceed further to the logarithm method. Okay. Now, as it is 31st of August, now this ephemeris book, it shows the planetary positions, that is of the year 2024. It starts from January and it ends, that is from January 1st to December 31st. For all the days, for all the 365 days, we will understand from this particular book what will be the planetary positions. This book will show you the longitudes of all the 9 planets for all the 365 days, different 365 days, as well as in which particular sign all those planets were for all the different days, that is in 2024. But we cannot straight away pick the values and straight away put these values in the horoscope, because all of these values, that's all of the dates, 1st January, 2nd January till 31st of December, all the values that you see in these tables, right? All the values that you see, right? All the values that you see in these tables are at 5:30 a.m. All right. So this thing you need to keep in mind. All of these values, right? It's written away. Indian ephemeris of planets' position according to the Nirayana system or the sidereal system. This is at 5:30 a.m. IST. So for the year 2024, all of these values are for the year 2024, but at 5:30 a.m. Right? All the ephemeris book, Vanis Ephemeris, you will find basically the ephemeris will reflect the values at 5:30 a.m. So we have to calculate the planetary movement for that particular period of time, that is from 5:30 a.m. to 11:25 in this situation, because the birth time is 11:25 in the morning, 11:25 a.m. right? So means if at 5:30 a.m. the planet was at this particular location, at 11:25 where the planet has moved, in which particular sign the planet is occupying, what is that difference in the longitude of the planet, that we need to calculate using this particular process. This is a ratio process, and I will teach you each and everything in detail, step by step. So it is very easy, first of all, and it's not at all confusing. Once you get a hang of it, you will be able to do it very, very smoothly each and every time whenever you will be calculating all of these things manually. And you should calculate all of these things manually. That's how our ancient astrologers did, right? Without relying on astrological softwares. Then only you will become a proficient and a complete astrologer if you are able to calculate all of these things manually. Then only your ganit, the mathematical efficiency, the mathematical skill of your astrology will increase, and your horoscopes will become even more accurate. And when your horoscopes, charting of the horoscopes becomes more accurate, minutes by minutes it becomes more accurate, then obviously your analysis and your interpretations will it will get even more accurate. It will even be more effective. So now, as I had said, as the time of birth is 11:25 a.m. and it is Now one more thing is we have to understand is that the timing of ephemeris is basically from 5:30 on one particular day, 5:30 a.m. in the morning, or one day to 5:30 a.m. in the morning of the next day. That's how the ephemeris table works. 5:30 to 5:30, right? Now, as I had already discussed, the principle says is if the day time of birth is more than 5:30 a.m. in the morning, then the first row value will be one day after the date of birth, that it becomes for us 1st September, and the second column will be the date of birth itself, that is the 31st of August. Now for 1st September 2024, in the first, this is number 1, now we are starting with exactly from number 1. On 1st September 2024 at 5:30 a.m. IST, we need to note down the planetary longitudes and the planetary positions. And this particular sequence, Sun, Moon, Mars, Mercury, Jupiter, Venus, Saturn, Rahu, these are all as per the sequence mentioned in this particular book. So you have to, or you can obviously learn this particular sequence, then it will be easier for you to jot down the values from this particular book, right? So let's look at 31st of August. So how we will be now understanding the values from this book, how to note down the values from this book, I'll teach you. Now for 31st of August, simply you need to go to the date. Here it is June, then we are still in June. Now here it is August. Now we have to go to 31st of August. This is 31st of August. So now 31st of August, what is the first, column value? It is Sun, then it is Moon, then Mars, then Mercury, Jupiter, Venus, Saturn, Rahu. This is exactly the sequence what I have written in my note, right? So whatever the value will be for Rahu, the same value applies to Ketu also. So that's why separately for Ketu it is not mentioned. So you have to only mention Rahu, and Ketu definitely whenever only the sign will be 180 degrees opposite. I will tell you that when I will be putting those values in the horoscope chart, I will tell you exactly like how to place Ketu. The longitude of Rahu, whatever you will be calculating from here, will be the same. Like for Ketu, it will be the same as Rahu. That much concept, it should be clear for all of you. If you have watched all of my videos from class 1 to class 69, I'm sure that concept will be clear to all of you. It's just that how to use this particular calculation process and then how to put it down in the horoscope chart, I'll tell you. So let's go to 31st of August and let's start with Sun. I'll just show you how I have got this value so that you will be now very much familiar with the process of jotting down the values from this particular Vani's Ephemeris book. So on August 31st, let's come to the first row, Sun. This first column, it is the sign past. The second column here, it is the degrees. The third column is the minutes. The fourth column is a second. That means Sun on 31st of August 2024 was 4 sign past. 4 sign past means it's in Leo. So always remember 4 sign past, 4s. That's how we are writing it down mathematically. 4s means 4 sign past. So on 31st of August 2024, Sun was 4 sign past, 13 degree, 53 minutes and 12 seconds. This is exactly what I have written. 4 sign past. Just 1 second. Huh? Okay, I'm so sorry. It's okay. I'm not a problem. I'm just telling you the values of 31st of August, even though the first value will be of 1st of September. So let's start. Not an issue. It is 31st. So second row will be of 31st of August 2024. So it is 4 sign past, 13 degree, 53 minutes, 12 seconds. Exactly what we have seen. So the first row will be of 1st September. Let's come to the 1st September here. 1st September, right? That is on, this is on page 31 of Vani's Ephemeris 2024 book. On 1st September, sorry, this is on, for Sun, it will be on page 30. So on 1st of September, the longitude of Sun was 4 sign past, 14 degree, 51 minute, 15 seconds, right? 4 sign past, 14 degree, 51 minute, 15 seconds. It is exactly what I have written. 4 sign past, 14 degree, 51 minute, 15 seconds. For 1st and 31st also, we have noted it down. Similarly, let's note down the value for Moon. The value for Moon on, okay, let's start with, so just to avoid confusion, let's start with 1st September, the first row value. The value of Moon on 1st of September is 3 sign past, 21 degrees, 42 minutes and 24 seconds. What I have written, same thing, 3 sine pass, 21 degree, 42 minutes and 24 seconds. Right? I have even labeled each and everything very clearly, very properly. All right. And on 31st of August, let's go back to 31st of August. On 31st of August, the longitude of moon and the position of moon was 3 sine pass, 9 degree, 21 minutes and 24 second. Exactly what I have written on 31st of August. For moon it was 3 sine pass, 9 degree, 21 minute, 24 seconds. Let's do one more for Mars, and then I think now let's then we can, you will be more familiar with the process. For Mars, the same sequence, right? On 1st of September, the longitude and the planetary position was for Mars was 2 sine pass, 3 degree, 28 minute, 5 seconds. 2 sine pass, 3 degree, 28 minute, 5 second for 1st of September. On 31st of August, for Mars it was 31st of August, this is August, yes, 31st of August for Mars it was 2 sine pass, 2 degree, 51 minutes and 9 seconds. 2 sine pass, 2 degree, 51 minutes and 9 seconds, alright. So this is how I am noting the values. Now one thing you have to note over here very properly is, these are all direct planets, direct motion planets. It means the longitude of Sun on 1st of September is more, including the sign I'm telling you, right? It has its sign also you need to consider, everything, all these 4 values you need to consider. In a way, this particular value is greater than this particular value. It means Sun has progressed directly. It has traveled directly. It is moving forward. All right, in that particular way, if I want to tell it to you. Okay. Same with moon, same with Mars. The Mars for moon also, the 1st September 2024 value is greater than 31st August 2024 value. Same with Mars. The same will be with Mercury. The same will be with Jupiter. The same will be with Venus. Now let's come to Saturn. Let me just, just jot down the values of Saturn over here. Saturn, let's come to 1st of September value for Saturn. See, 1st of September value for Saturn is 10 sine pass, 22 degrees, 23 minutes and 31 seconds, right? This is what I have written for 1st of September 2024. For Saturn, the value is 10 sine pass, 22 degrees, 23 minutes and 31 seconds. Okay. Now let's come to the value of Saturn for 31st of August 2024. For 31st of August 2024, the value of Saturn is 10 sine pass, 22 degrees, 27 minutes and 3 seconds. This is what I have written for 31st of August 2024. 10 sine pass, 22 degrees, 27 minutes and 3 seconds. What have you observed over here, which is different from all the other planets? From Sun to Venus, the Saturn value is a bit different. Why? Because for Saturn, we are observing that the 31st of August 2024 value is greater than 1st September 2024 value. Simple understanding, simple logical understanding. It is 22 degree, 27 minutes and 3 seconds. And on 1st September, it was 22 degree, 23 minutes and 31 seconds. So it has moved back. Every planet has moved forward. Now this is, it seems it is moving back. It means astronomically, astrologically, it means Saturn, the movement of Saturn is retrograde. It means Saturn is retrograde. The same concept will apply to Rahu always. Rahu and Ketu will universally, typically, whatever horoscopes I have seen till now, Rahu and Ketu are always retrograde. Alright, Rahu and Ketu are always R. R means it is retrograde. But here Saturn is also retrograde. So this thing we have to note. because we will be using, we have to be mindful about certain things when we are doing the below calculations. So now we have noted down the values from Sun to Rahu using this particular book for 1st September 2024, 31st August 2024. Now let the first row be labeled as step 1, the second row will be labeled as step 2. Okay, so whatever I am teaching you, again I am reminding you, all of these things for the ratio method will be universal for any kind of birth details you take into account and you start to calculate manually. Now step 3 is step 1 minus step 2. It means this particular value minus this particular value, this minus this minus this, simple subtraction. I will show you one, and I'm sure you will be able to do all of these things. It means simply 4 sine pass 14 degree 51 minutes 15 seconds minus 4 sine pass 13 degrees 53 minutes and 12 seconds. When you subtract this value from this value, you are getting 58 minutes 03 seconds. Simple subtraction. Now I'll just tell you logically, 14 degree, like I'll tell you once so that you will be able to do the other things too. If in case there is a confusion, 14 degree 51 minutes 15 seconds, I can write it as 13 degree 111 minutes 15 seconds, because 1 degree is equal to 60 minutes. So I'm minusing 1 degree from here and adding 60 minutes over here. That is the same value as this. So 14 degree, or I'll say 4 sine pass 14 degree 51 minutes 15 seconds is equal to 4 sine pass 13 degree 111 minutes and 15 seconds. Then I'm doing this because the subtraction will be more easier. So 15 minus 12 is 03 seconds. 111 minutes minus 53 minutes is 58 minutes. 13 minus 13 is 0. 4 minus 4 is 0. So ultimately step 1 minus step 2 for Sun, it will be 58 minutes and 03 seconds. Same mathematical calculation concept applies for all the 8 planets over here. Alright, from Sun to planet Rahu. But for Sun, Moon, Mars, Mercury, Jupiter, Venus, these are all simple subtraction, because the 1st September 2024 value is bigger than the 31st August 2024 value. But in Saturn, as the 31st of August 2024 value is bigger or greater than the 1st September 2024 value. So whenever a planet is retrograde, we have to, reverse the subtraction. So in this situation, we are subtracting this value from this value because this value is greater. Alright, so what we are doing, it means here I have written it down. It means 10 sine pass, 10 sine pass, 10 I have not written anyways, because 10 minus 10 is anyways 0. It is C. So ultimately it is 22 degrees, 27 minutes, 3 seconds minus 22 degrees, 23 minutes, 31 seconds. So here 27 minutes, 3 seconds, I can write it as 26 minutes, 63 seconds, because 1 minute is equal to 60 seconds. So 63 minus 31 is 32 seconds. 26 minus 23 is 3 minutes. 22 minus 22 is 0. 10 minus 10 is 0. So here I have to put minus. So this particular thing you have to keep in mind, because as it is a retrograde value, as this value is lesser than this value, even though you are doing the subtraction by subtracting this value from this value, the ultimate result that you are getting, you have to put a minus beside it, because here the simple mathematical logical concept is getting applied. It's a minus sign. Similarly, we have used the same concept, whatever we have applied for Saturn, we have applied the same thing for Rahu also, because Rahu is also retrograde. It means this value is greater than this value. Okay, now let's proceed. Now we have completed step 3 also. Our step 1 is completed, step 2 is completed, step 3 is completed. Now we have to come to step 4, which is our ratio, the incorporation of the ratio calculation over here. Don't look at this now. No, don't look at this value. Before that, we have to come to here. We have to come to this particular step. Here we need to calculate the daily motion in of the planets at 24 hours. All right. So we are calculating the ratio. It means our date of birth, time of birth is 11:25 a.m. and our ephemeris time is 5:30. So how much the planet has moved, or what is the daily motion? It is 11:25 minus 5:30. A simple subtraction, that is our subtracted value will be 5 hour 55 minutes, because 5 hour 30 minutes is the ephemeris time, and all the planetary values that you see over here in step 1, step 2 are all of 5:30, but we need to calculate the planetary positions and the planetary longitude in that time of 11:25. So this is where we are doing the subtraction. It's a simple mathematical equation. Don't get tensed, don't get stressed. Once you are thorough with this, once you are clear with this, every time whenever you will be calculating it manually, you will be doing it very, very easily. Just understand the simple mathematical equation. 11:25 minus 5:30 is 5 hour 55 minutes. So this particular value becomes the numerator. This is the numerator value. The denominator will be 24. It means in 24 hours, all the planets have gone through a motion of 5 hour and 55 minutes, if I want to tell it to you in a simple sense. Okay. But don't go too much, don't, think too much. You have to just remember this mathematical equation, because it's everything here is a play of mathematical calculations. Very simple calculations, but just that you need to remember all of these things step by step. If you are doing it correctly, each and everything step by step, then you're eventually the values that you will be calculating, the values that you will be deriving will be accurate, will be simply brilliantly accurate. So for that, you have to be a bit mindful whenever you are doing all of these calculations, because concept wise these are all very simple logical addition and subtraction, okay, or a simple multiplication and division. That's it. That is it. Okay. So here we have got a value which is, our numerator value is 11 hour 25 minutes minus 5 hour 30 minutes, which is giving us 5 hour 55 minutes. So 5 hour 55 minutes becomes our numerator value, and the denominator value is 24. So the ratio value that we are calculating is 5 hour 55 minutes divided by 24 hours. So here you can, convert this 55 minutes into either hours by, you can either do like 5 plus 55 by 60 divided by 24, or you can convert this particular hour and this particular hour into minutes, which I have done. You can 5 into 60 plus 55 divided by 24 into 60. So anyway, the unit for your numerator and your denominator needs to be the same. That is simple ratio method, right? Then only the m and m will get cancelled, or the h and h will get cancelled, and you will be having a numerical value. So either you convert minutes into hours, or you convert hours into minutes, and you will do a simple division. So after finding out, or after doing this simple division, the value, the accurate value that you are doing, that you are getting is 0.24652 4 times 7. Okay. So this is the value which I have written over here. For all the 8 planets, I have written the value, right? See, for all the 8 planets, I have written the value, that is 0.246527777. For a mathematical easiness, I have labeled this value as A. Okay. So I have done it in this particular way. You can either do it or you cannot do it. That depends on you. I have done it for my own easiness and for my own remembrance, so that I do not go wrong in the calculations. And I have a habit of writing down each and everything, like for my clarity, for my revision work too. So in the step 4, first step for the step 4, right? The step A of step 4 is to find out the ratio, which we have successfully calculated, and it comes up to be as this particular value, and we have the first step is that we have written that particular value down for all the 8 planets, and I have labeled it as A. Now the next step of step 4 is we need to multiply this particular value, this particular decimal value, what the ratio value which we have calculated. We have to multiply this value with our step 3 value, whatever we have got. It means 58 minute 03 seconds into 0.246527777. It means 12 degrees 21 minutes 0 seconds multiplied by this value, 36 minutes 56 seconds multiplied by this value. So as I have written it down over here, that's the reason I have written it down and I have labeled it as A, right? It means what I have done is I have converted this value into minutes. So it means 58 minute 03 seconds multiplied by A, it means 58 plus 03 divided by 60 into A, because I'm just converting the seconds into minutes, and that I have to I have to arrive at a same unit, right? If it is degree minute, either you convert everything into degrees or you convert everything into minute. If it is minute and second, you convert everything into minute, right? So this is how I have converted it. So 3 by 60 into plus 58 into A, it gives us, for simple, you can use your calculator and you can do it, right? So simple calculation, you will get 14.31 minutes. It means 14 minutes, 0.31, you multiply that by 60 and you get 19 seconds. So this particular calculation is yielding us the value of 14 minutes and 19 seconds. All right, now let's proceed. Same thing, this value multiplied by this value, what I have done here is I have converted everything into minutes, right? So 0 is 0, anyways, 0 by 60, 0 second is 0 by 60, anyways, it's a 0 value. So 21 minutes I have converted degrees, the 12 degrees into minutes, which is 12 into 60. So I have, that's entire thing I've converted, this entire value I've converted into minutes, and then I've multiplied this with this particular decimal value. It is giving us 182.67 minutes. That is simply, it comes up as 3 degrees, because 1 degree is 60 minutes, it means 3 degrees, and 02 minute, 182 minutes, it means it is 3 degree and 02 minutes, correct? 0.67 minutes, multiply this by 60 and you will get 41 seconds. So simple mathematical calculation for all the 8 planets. I'm not going to repeat for all the 8 planets, right? I've explained it to you for 2 planets. I'm sure you will be able to figure out for all the other planets too. Just one thing you have to keep in mind is, when you come to Saturn, as Saturn is a retrograde planet, right? So you are multiplying this particular value with this particular value, right? So what I'm doing is again the same concept. I'm converting this second into minutes. So 32 divided by 60 plus 3. It is my overall minutes for this value, and I'm multiplying that by A, this value, and I'm getting as 0.871 minutes. So 0.871 I'm multiplying by 60 and I'm getting it approximately as 52 seconds. So the same mathematical calculation is exactly the same for all the others what we have done. Just that you have to mention the minus sign over here, because this was minus, correct? So you have to just bring forward the minus sign over here. So whenever you are doing the calculations for retrograde planets R, you have to be mindful about the sign, which is minus, okay? Otherwise, if you do not mention the minus and if you take these values as plus, your entire calculations will go wrong. So you have to be very watchful and mindful about this. You cannot forget. So once my step 4 is completed, then I will come to step 5. Step 5 is very, very easy. What is step 5? Step 5 is this particular value which we have got from our step 4, that is 14 minute 19 seconds, or 3 degree 02 minutes 41 seconds, or 9 minute 06 seconds, whatever value we have got for all the 8 planets, we will be adding this value to our step 2 value, that is this value. So step 5 is 4 sine cross, for sun I'm telling you, 4 sine cross 13 degree 53 minutes 12 seconds plus 14 minute 19 seconds. This is what I have written. So similarly I have written for all the planets, right? 3 sine cross 9 degree 21 minutes 24 seconds plus 3 degrees 02 minutes 41 seconds. I have written it very clearly over here so that there is no confusion when it comes to understanding the steps. Here only for retrograde planet, that's why we are being very mindful about the sign. It is again this particular value we are taking 10 sine cross 22 degrees 27 minutes 3 second minus 52 seconds. For all the other things it was plus, because the equation is typically step 2 value plus step 4 value, but as the step 4 value over here is minus, so eventually it will be like minus. This value becomes this value minus this value. Similarly for Rahu it will also be the same. Okay. So once I have successfully added or subtracted when it came to our retrograde planet, when we have done it over here, then we are arriving at this value. So I will show you one calculation so that you will be able to understand that very easily. For all the other planets you will be able to understand that. 4 sine cross 13 degree 53 minutes 12 seconds plus 14 minutes 19 seconds. How much is that? 19 plus 12 is 31 seconds. 53 minutes plus 14 minutes is 67 minutes. 67 minutes, it means 1 degree 7 minutes. 7 minutes I'm writing it over here. 1 degree gets carried forward. 13 plus 1 is 14. So 4 sine cross 14 degree 07 minute 31 second. I've written 4s over here. Similarly we are doing it for all the 8 planets. Only in this situation for Saturn, as Saturn is retrograde, for Rahu is also retrograde, we are doing subtraction, and when we are subtracting 52 minutes from this value, we are getting 22 degrees 26 minutes 11 seconds, 10 sine passed. Here again for Rahu we are getting this value, right? So I have noted down. Do the calculations at your end. You have to do the calculations at your end if you want to be adept with this particular process, with all of these steps. Okay. So now I am sure you have noted down, or you have come to this particular step. So congratulations, you have successfully calculated the planetary positions and the planetary longitudes for that birth detail. Okay. It means Sun in the D1 chart is in the sign of Leo, and the longitude of Sun is 14 degree 07 minutes 31 seconds. Moon in the D1 chart is in the sign of Cancer, 3 sign pass, it is in the sign of Cancer, and the longitude of Moon is 12 degrees 24 minutes 05 seconds. Mars in the D1 chart, it is in the sign of Gemini, and the longitude of Mars is 3 degrees 00 minutes 15 seconds. Similarly, we now have the longitude of all the 8 planets from Sun to Rahu. Okay. Now let's jot down these. Let's create a horoscope now. Okay. Let's create the horoscope, because in class 68 we have already calculated the ascendant, rising, and the longitude of the ascendant. Now in this particular class, in class 70, we have successfully calculated the planetary positions and the planetary longitudes for the same birth detail. So now we can go ahead and now we can chart this horoscope. This is our birth chart. All right. So the ascendant rising is Libra. We had already calculated. So just chart the horoscope. I'm sure you are at this stage of your learning journey. You should be able to do this by your own. First house is ruled by Libra. Second house is ruled by Scorpio. Third is Sagittarius. Fourth is Capricorn. Fifth is Aquarius. Sixth is Pisces. Seventh is Scorpio, seventh is Aries, eighth is Taurus, ninth is Gemini, 10th is Cancer, 11th is Leo, and the 12th is Virgo. Okay, now I've simply jotted down, written the planet's name over here because, for example, Saturn is 10 sign cross, right? So Saturn is 10, Saturn is in Aquarius. So put Saturn over here. Rahu is in 11 sign cross. It means Pisces, or 11 sign, either you can say cross or you can say past. 11 sign past or 11 sign crossed. So Rahu is in Pisces. It means Ketu will be, now here how you are writing or how you are placing Ketu. You have found that Rahu is in this particular house. So Ketu will be exactly 180 degrees opposite to Rahu, means 7th from Rahu. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So Ketu gets placed in the 12th house in the sign of Virgo. Similarly, Jupiter is in Taurus. Venus is in Virgo. Mercury is in Cancer. Mars is in Gemini. Moon Cancer. Sun is in Leo. So I have successfully charted out the horoscope manually for an individual, for a particular birth detail. Without using a software, we have created this by proper astronomical calculations. Okay, and here what I have done is I have written down the longitudes from the ascendant till Ketu, right? All calculated manually. Whatever we have calculated, I have just noted down the values over here. Saturn, I have marked it as retrograde. Rahu is retrograde and Ketu will also be retrograde. So the longitude of Rahu, whatever we have calculated, the longitude of Ketu will be exactly the same, right? I'm sure you know this, this particular understanding that Rahu and Ketu both actually they have the same longitude. So I think I will end today's class 70. In the next class, I will teach you the the logarithm method. So how you can calculate the planetary position, how you can calculate the planetary longitudes using the logarithm method. Some people, they prefer the logarithm method because they feel that the logarithm method, it takes less time. Some people will feel they are more comfortable using the ratio method. So my responsibility as a person who likes to spread correct knowledge, informed awareness, is to teach you everything, whatever I know, whatever I am familiar with, whatever I am educated with. I will teach you all everything. Now it is depending on you which particular method, which particular process you will follow. For this situation, whether you will follow the ratio method or you will follow the logarithm method, it is completely depending on you. I will not share my opinion, that is what is my personal favorite. I can use both of these methods. All right. So it's again up to you which particular method you want to use. All right. So let's end today's class. I want to now congratulate you all. Now, if you are familiar, if you are thorough with today's class, and the class is still now from class 1 till class 70, you have become a very proficient astrologer, right? There is more to learn because whenever I get time, I make and I create these classes. Astrology is like an ocean of learning. The learning never stops. I also learn today and I will keep on learning in the future. But there needs to be at least a good package and a complete package of learning which you need to imbibe so that you can analyze horoscopes properly and correctly. That knowledge everyone must have. Then the knowledge will keep on growing, it will keep on adding, and there is no end limit to this learning, this journey of being a very, very good Vedic astrologer. All right, but congratulations. Now you have at least from class 69 and class 70 and class 68, right? Last 3 classes we are completely focusing on mathematical astrology. So congratulations again. I want to clear this. I want to complete this my statement. Congratulations, because now you are able to. Once you will be familiar with these three classes, it will take a lot of practice and a lot of rewatching all of these videos again and again. But once you will be complete and thorough with your learnings, congratulations, because you will be able to manually chart a horoscope, the D1 chart. You will be able to manually create or manually calculate the ascendant rising for a birth detail, whether it is a northern latitude or whether it is a southern latitude, whether it is an IST birth, whether it is a ZST birth. I have taught you each and everything in detail in class 68 and in class 69. From today's class, you will be able to manually calculate the planetary positions and the planetary longitudes for a particular birth detail. So, using the information, using the knowledge of these three classes, you will be now able to chart a horoscope on your own manually without the requirement of any online astrological software. If you do this and if you follow this process, your calculations, your analysis, your interpretations are bound to be correct, because the values which you are calculating, as long as your calculations are correct, so that will take practice. Okay, that will take practice. As long as your calculations are correct, as long as you're able to calculate all of these steps very correctly and arriving at the right correct result, your analysis interpretations is going to be correct, because the values which is there in front of you, those are minute wise, second wise accurate, that online astrological softwares they are unable to give you. But if you follow this manually, if you do this manually, that's why you will become more very proficient. That's why our ancient astrologers, our traditional astrologers, that is, when there was when there was no all applications, online applications, when there was no softwares, they did all of those calculations manually, and how accurate their results were. That is, all those who did astrology very thoroughly, very accurately, there were proficient astrologers. Why? Because their ganit, their mathematical part was very clear and very sound. That is what I'm trying to teach you, because I have learned it. I am able to teach you. Why? Because I have learned it very thoroughly and I have practiced it multiple, innumerable number of times to get that confidence that if I get a birth detail, I will be able to calculate all of these things correctly without making any mistake. That is the confidence I have achieved, and it has taken me a lot of time to achieve this. But what I have to give, I had to give that focus, I had to give that dedication, and I have had to give that sincerity towards my efforts into practicing all of these things regularly. I did not miss a single day. Every day I am studying astrology, every day I'm practicing astrology. Then only I am so confident whenever I give consultations, because my calculations, interpretations, analysis are very good. Okay, so thank you so much. My objective is to share my knowledge, the knowledge which I have acquired. My responsibility is to share it so that people who are in that learning journey to become very good astrologers, they become so in a correct way, by studying, by learning correctly, the correct knowledge. Okay, so thank you so much, and I will see you all in the next class.